Someone's selfishness got in the way of them fully seeing you, and it has negatively impacted them more than they would have ever anticipated. I'm getting that this was a bit of a connection that was supposed to be like romance and business. You were supposed to create something with someone, but it never came around because this person didn't ask the right questions. This was someone who had a bit of an inflated sense of self. They were operating from a very wounded positioning, so they weren't able to think outside of their ego. So they weren't able to ask you the right questions that would have led them to where they needed to be. Instead, they were, again, seeing things from a very like selfish perspective, so they couldn't see you properly because they weren't even seeing the world around them as they needed to. This is someone, yeah, you guys were meant to collaborate on something. Again, you were supposed to be, this was like a friendship and something more type of thing, which with this 5 of birds here, with this 3 of lotuses, that did cause some kind of inner conflict or inner turmoil for them, that maybe they aren't used to connections being so easy when it comes to romance or that sort of thing. So they didn't really know how to take this to the next level. It's like, oh, I feel really comfortable with this person. There's a lot of potential here. There's a lot to grow. And it made them confront some things about themselves that they didn't really want to look at. But this was supposed to be a really divine and fortuitous twist of fate here with this life map card. This is the Wheel of Fortune in the traditional deck. And you guys were meant to build something together. Your skills combined would have brought you both a lot of peace, a lot of stability. There would have been something that you could build together. You're both very intelligent people with this Elementalist card. It's the King of Swords in the traditional deck. However, this person wasn't seeing things properly. Their intuition was telling them something though with the Swan card here. This is the High Priestess. But they weren't listening. They weren't tapped into what they needed to be. They were operating solely based on ego. I keep hearing 5-year plan. So this person may have had a 5-year plan in mind, something that they were currently working on, that they didn't see how you at your current state would fit into it. And instead of asking you the right questions, which would have revealed to them what they already knew intuitively, they just operated off of assumptions. And this is what screwed them over, is that had they asked you for your future plans, that sort of thing, yeah, this would have been them laying a burden down. There was something about a weakness here. They felt too weak to ask this of you, so they were scared that maybe you would know that they were planning a future with you and they weren't ready to talk to you about it, that sort of thing, and they ended up screwing themselves over. This Mender card, it's the Queen of Cups. They could have seen you as very like open and loving. Okay, yes, confirmed with this Peacock card here. This is the Empress. So they sort of saw you as everything. And interesting, I've got the Hierophant here, the Phoenix. So they wanted some kind of traditional higher level of commitment with you, but again, it would have meant that they'd have to get their act together in some kind of way. They saw you very much up on this pedestal and they didn't really know how they would meet you there, and they figured that if they started asking questions, that again would start to make this thing real. And instead of moving forward with that, they chose an easier route in their mind that has negatively impacted them, that things that they thought were going to be open doors in their 5-year plan, there was nothing behind these doors. So they are now sitting with this realization that they picked the wrong path and that they should have been much more open and brave when it came to their connection with you. Yeah, they're currently working through a lot of that heartbreak that was sort of influencing them that first time around. They're learning how to balance their emotional energy and how to be more open with others, particularly people that they're interested in, and how to release this judgment of themselves and step into the unknown bravely so that they aren't juggling 2 things and making decisions based off of illusion instead of what they could actually gather from speaking with another and gaining facts. So if this resonates with you, let me know. All of my services are linked in my bio, so if you want to get a little more information either on this reading or something else, you can book with me there. Make sure you grab my How to Read Tarot Intuitively guide and get a raffle ticket.